Do you ever have a fleeting thought that you think could just be a fantastic idea, so you just write it down for later and work on it when you get to it? I know I sure do. But we're not talking about me, and we're not talking about you. Today we're talking about Intelligent Qube. So it is April 9th, 1996, and Masahiko Sato is sitting at his home. It's between 2 and 3 p.m., and suddenly an idea pops into his head for this puzzle game with this foreboding atmosphere where you have to dodge and destroy cubes on like this grid-like system. So when you load up the game initially, you have this guy, and we don't know how this unfortunate individual got into this situation. Allegedly there's some lore in the US release, but I like the other two, the European and the Japanese release, where you're just kind of there, you're just in the void fighting the cubes. So we don't know how they got there, and the music's not helping the situation because it is an extremely mysterious but amazing orchestral soundtrack. I'll put the composer's name on the screen because I'm sorry I can't pronounce it here on the fly, but it's really incredible stuff. All the music in this game is really fantastic. Time to get the actual game out of the case and put it into the PlayStation. To think of the massive gaming empire that has come from this little gray box. So there is a 2-player race mode in this game. Not going to be playing that today, we're just going to do the single player, just to kind of get the idea. So you have this little guy, Elliot I believe his name is, and you can use X to mark a spot, and then X again to destroy. And then when you destroy a green cube, it leaves that little green space on the board. And then you can hit triangle to destroy a 3x3 area around it. So it's pretty simple, you're just moving around with the D-pad and selecting with X and triangle.
After graduating Choate, I went on, of course, to Harvard, where I majored in Latin and other dead languages. I then proceeded on to Cambridge, where I wrote my now famous...
Think you're really smart? Then try Intelligent Qube, the painfully tough new brain twister. Get ready to think. Or die.
PlayStation.
Excluding the music, yes, visually it was almost exactly the same. I saw humans standing in an abstract open space with giant cubes coming at you. There were about 7 people, and in my initial vision there were also dogs. My own initial image for IQ, however, was far too complicated. It was too difficult and hence not very interesting. Gradually I refined the gameplay and the game changed accordingly. So besides originally wanting to have like 7 people on the board with dogs, he also originally wanted to have some other shapes as a part of the geometrical onslaught that is plaguing these poor individuals. At that time I also imagined that, in addition to cubes, there would be blocks with more complex shapes, ones that were 2 stories high for instance, or ones that were more flat and oblong. However, when I actually made them, I realized that they made the game incomprehensible to human beings. The problem was that once the blocks became too complex in shape, people could no longer predict how they would move. Once I got into the actual development and created rules that humans could actually predict, that is when I first discovered the gameplay of IQ. If you'd like to try out Intelligent Qube for yourself, I do believe it's still on the PlayStation Store if you have a PS4 or PS5, and I think if you have PlayStation Plus, it's just like an automatic download type deal because it's like a classic on PlayStation. So you should probably download that and test your IQ, put that in the comments below, and thanks for watching.